Hey, what's happening? It's Bill Smith. If you ever wanted to know why the transgender stuff is happening, what the purpose of it is, if you're like me and you've just been lost, you're trying to figure out, why is transgenderism even a thing? Why would they push it? Why would all the global corporations get together and actively push it along with the government? Why would Israeli Jews be so big into it? What does it have to do with the Noahide order? You'll never figure it out unless you watch this video. This guy is named Transpocalypse Now. He used to have a channel called Mr. E. And I've reposted one of his videos. I'm not going to repost this one. But if you want to figure out why this is occurring, what this has to do with Freemasonry and Nancy Pelosi's son-daughter, this is what you need to watch. This will explain the whole thing to you. Okay, it's only 20 minutes. Your world will make sense after you watch this video. Please watch this video. I'll leave the link below. Okay, now the big news today. Check this out. This is crazy. In 2008, Pfizer, the drug company, had a drug called Embrel, and it showed a 100% instantaneous improvement in Alzheimer's dementia patients. So there's a huge question right now, and the question is did Pfizer suppress this? This is the drug. It's called Etanercept. It was marketed under this other name I've already told you, and it's a TNF inhibitor. All right, so they figured out like 15, 20 years ago what actually causes autism, and it's an overactive immune response. Okay, autoimmune diseases are caused by an overactive immune response. Now what vaccines do is vaccines target and activate an immune response. That's what they're for. That's why they have to give you like the mercury or the aluminum, and it's to stimulate and activate your immune system, so then your immune system targets the antivirus, or the the shell of cells, the viral shells that they give you with the shot. So that's how it all works. Okay. Now, this is really interesting. Okay? Very, very interesting. This has been around for a long time. ImmuneX developed the commercial product in late 1998. Okay? 1998. That's the history of it. Now, if you search Alzheimer today, okay, today is the 5th of June, 2019. Remember that date because it's today. This is breaking news, and it says Pfizer had clues its blockbuster drug could prevent Alzheimer's. Here's another one, 10 hours ago. Pfizer denies a report that it hid a possible Alzheimer's breakthrough. And it's buried in this. Here's another one from the Daily Mail. But it's buried in here, and it's not really on a headline anywhere. It is newsworthy, I guess, that June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. It's also LGBT month if you haven't been paying attention to that. All right. I don't want to lose you here, so I'm going to move on real quick. This is an article from 2008. Okay? This is 11 years ago, and it says, this novel drug therapy immediately reverses Alzheimer's cognitive deficits. So they knew about it. They knew about it the entire time. This article talks about Embrel, which is the market name for a drug called Etanercept. And it explains how it works and how it affects it, and how it's administered as an Alzheimer's therapy. And here's the first pilot study. So they've performed a pilot study of 15 people. Okay, and there was a huge improvement immediately. Then they did a second pilot study because they're like, wow, really, no kidding, that works really great. And what they found is after 10 minutes, there was an impact, and people came out of this. Now, I'll go back and I'll show you what causes Alzheimer's, but Alzheimer's is caused by brain inflammation, okay, and it's connected to the immune system. So your immune system in these older patients, for some reason, is overactive, and it causes brain inflammation, which causes all these neurological disorders that we call, among other things, Alzheimer's. Now it says that this guy, when he came in, didn't know where he was, didn't remember his name, couldn't name the state that he lived in. Didn't know the year. He could not state the year nor the state that he lived in. Okay? After 2 hours of giving him an injection of this, he was retested. While he could not recall being in the treatment room a day earlier, or earlier in the day, 2 hours earlier, he couldn't remember getting the shot. He did recall the name of the second person that he went to go see. He could now orient to the month, day of week, place, and could again correctly name the state as California, which he could not do prior to the Embrel injection to the back of his neck. He was off on the calendar date by just 2 days and the year by 1 year. Okay, but basically, after 2 years of giving this guy this 2 hours, he comes in, he doesn't know who he is, where he's at, what year it is, what time of day it is. Totally lost in his head. His brain's swole up. Autoimmune disorder called Alzheimer's. They give him a shot. 2 hours later, he's normal. They have a cure for Alzheimer's. You get it? And they've had it this whole time. They've had it for 11 years. They knew 11 years ago this stuff worked. 11 years ago. Okay, so I'll skip over here real quick. I'll come back to this. This says that, among other things, Embrel is being used to treat rheumatoid arthritis, okay, among other stuff. But they're saying that it's not effective in treating that. It's also extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. Okay. So this thing was created in like the 1990s by this guy. Who cares? The people that got the patent on this drug, though, they also patented the protein. So this is a biological. It's not. They can't really make a generic drug. There's a lot of rules and laws against this in some countries, but over in India they can. So India is now producing this drug at a 30% discount. The problem is that in the United States they sell this drug for $5,000 a month. In Switzerland they sell it for $1,000 a month. So there's a huge markup on the U.S. market. Now the patent ran out. The patent ran out, but they got another one. They got a 16-year extension just in the United States, though, which means that companies in the United States have gone out of their way to charge American citizens under American health care plans exorbitant rates that they don't charge anybody else in any other countries. And now that we have Obamacare, you know, everybody wins except for the taxpayer or the person actually buying the health plan. So it was made in 1990. They got the rights to market it, okay, shortly thereafter. And then this is what it was used for in medical. Moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis, November 1998. Moderate to severe polyarticular juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, a year later, 6 months later. 3 years later, another kind of arthritis, then something I don't understand, AS, and then moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Everything except for the one thing that it's really great at treating, which is Alzheimer's, right here. Okay, so we looked at all that stuff. Now this is the interesting part. Remember, today's date. Let me show you today's date. June 5th, 2019. Okay? Now, the reason why you're hearing about this now, see how they say the Washington Post noted that Embrel was near the end of its 20-year patent life and financial incentives for further research into the drug were, quote, diminishing. The reason why we even know this is because we have the healthcare data from the insurance companies. So they also reference that same article here. And it's from yesterday. And it says Pfizer had clues its blockbuster drug could prevent Alzheimer's. Why didn't it tell the world? You know why, man, because there ain't no money in the cure. So they made this knowing that it worked to solve this problem. And they've known since at least 2008, but they won't pay $80 million to put it on the market, even though it's worth $3.3 billion a year as an arthritis medication. Like I said, this just came out yesterday. It's already on Wikipedia. So when you come through back and read these kind of things, you think, oh, this happened a long time ago. No, this is breaking news right now, today. And the only reason why you're hearing about it is because they just lost their 20-year patent life and financial incentives for further research into the drug. So now everybody knows about it because it's off patent. So I went and found it, and here it is. This is the actual patent for this drug. This is U.S. Patent 544785 1B1. Current assignee to Immunex Corp. So we kind of covered them a second ago. And here's the application events. They got it in 1992, and it expired today. Okay? Expired lifetime expiration today. So if you've been following QAnon stuff, I talked about this like a year ago. Rod Rosenstein, his sister, works at the Center for Disease and Communicable something, CDC. Okay, and they bury this stuff top to bottom. Okay, people know about this stuff, but they go out of their way to make sure it never hits the market, which is what they did here. Okay, so if you know somebody with dementia or Alzheimer's, this is the reason why they haven't had a cure, is because companies like this sat on something they knew would work because they didn't want to offer you the cure. So I'm sorry. You know, if you've been looking for the cure for Alzheimer's, it's been out there for 11 years. They won't let you take it. You haven't been allowed to. And up until today, this thing was patented. So the good news is, now you know. Now we can get a generic version of this since the patent has run out, and we can give it to Alzheimer's patients so they can be cured of this. I got a few minutes left. I always like to take my full 15 minutes, so we're going to stop over here real quick. I've been going to this website. It's called Russia-Insider.com. This is a crowdsourced media criticism. It's kind of like a fake news cover. People say Russia's not our friend. I kind of like getting outside of the vacuum and the echo chamber of American media. So a lot of people that write for this are English speakers. They're Americans. It's just called Russia Insider. It could be called Fox News or Washington Post. It's all the same. There's info over here. I'm just telling you where to come get it. They talked about it. This is one of the places where I found this information. Now, this is interesting, too. Today we had a big YouTube purge. A bunch of people got banned. So even though there's free speech and First Amendment rights for every human being in the United States, all the citizenry, and hate speech has been deemed to be free speech. There's actually no such thing as hate speech. It doesn't exist. Hate speech is a term invented by social media companies recently. There is no such thing as hate speech in the U.S. Code of Law. It's just under protected speech. That's it. But now in Florida, it's now highly illegal to say that Jews control Hollywood. You can't do it. And this was kind of the crux of a lot of stuff. So this guy's name, Rick DeSantis, I think that's his name, DeSantis, and he signed Florida state legislature banning any criticism of Jews or Israel in the state of Florida. He's the governor. And he took a special trip over to the Wailing Wall in Israel, and while he was there with these guys in the weird hats who studied the Talmud, he's a Christian, by the way, supposedly. Talmud, Christian, Judeo-Christian values don't mix. Anyway, he signed the law, the Florida state law, over there in Israel. Can't make it up. So it's been an eventful day. Enjoy the good news. Till next time, this is Bill Smith. Thanks for watching.